Greetings, all. Well, anybody else having problems these days with the prices of food? Wow. Yeah, I'm finding myself kind of aggravated over it. If you aren't feeling that pain, you must be raising 100% of your own food or something or another. Or I don't, I just experienced one of Ellen's friends over on Facebook having a panic attack over an $8 jar of mayonnaise at Target. Yeah, well, I guess she didn't realize how many millions of chickens they had to off over there in California because of this avian flu. Yeah, pricier jar of mayonnaise is mostly related to how many chickens got sick and got killed off. But the truth of the matter is, the inflation in food costs isn't necessarily rational, nor is it even or equivalent to our economy. It appears we have people out there who, when trying to figure out pricing schemes, are just taking a dart and throwing it at a chalkboard, with prices on it or something, because it does not appear that they're using formulas to calculate as compared to inflation, and scarcity and things like this. Well, for instance, if you're in the supermarket, you're out there at the store doing your shopping today, you will find that in the last few years, the price of your food has gone up at least 3%, in the market when you're cooking in your own kitchen. But if you're eating out, particularly in fast food restaurants, you will find that the price of your meal has gone up 8%. There could be a few other factors involved in that somehow, but nevertheless, if food's up 3% in the market but up 8% in the fast food joints, somebody's gouging. Yeah, there's a 5% discrepancy in there, which is quite a bit of money. Well, I don't like it. And, we get our sale papers in the news here every week, and if you live in Hawaii, where costs for everything can be really expensive, a conscientious shopper will be paying close attention to who has what on special this week, where are the senior discounts, who has a Carolina discount, and so on. That you're going to look for all these little advantages. Well, we read those sale papers there all the time. Well, for the most part, these are Target ads, grocery store ads like KTA, Foodland, or such. Long's Drugstore, or otherwise known as CVS in the mainland. These are places where we tend to shop, and so Ellen reads those ads. She is really in charge of filtering that kind of stuff. When it comes to fast food, I do eat out at restaurants frequently, but I don't eat out at fast food restaurants very often at all. The only time this actually happens is that, Ellen went off to town, had some kind of acupuncture appointment or something like this, and then says, well, I'm going to go out shop and blah, blah, I'll be home, and, well, as 5 o'clock rolls around, I have not made any dinner plans. I don't know where she is. Finally, she calls and says, okay, I'm done. I'm coming home now. I said, well, I haven't fixed anything. Will you bother to stop and just grab something we can have for dinner? She says, okay. Well, Jack in the Box is the only fast food joint here on this island that will include a sale flyer along with all the other stuff we get weekly. And so, you can get $2 off on one of their hamburgers or something on this order when you're using these coupons at Jack in the Box. Well, she does keep that thing in the car because you never know when this might happen. And, I tell you, I get pretty darn tired of Little Caesars pizzas real fast. Anyhow, Well, the other day, I don't know, Jack's got some kind of a double burger. It's their big jumbo thing. I don't remember what it's called right now. But, well, she picked up a couple of these and came home with them, and I'm looking at him and go, boy, for a huge hamburger, that's a pretty scrawny little thing. And I'm looking at the picture, of course, and well, we all know the pictures at a fast food place never look like the real thing. Okay, there's glorious presentations of big, delicious, juicy hamburgers, with nice, crisp, fluffy lettuce and so on sticking out of them. But you get the dang thing, and well, to begin with, some teenager made a point of sitting on it, before they put it in the bag. They just like to flatten the heck out of the darn things, so there's no loft. But the only way they got this thing to try to look like there was more meat is they took the basic hamburger patty they had and they cut it down through the center, and just all you get is extra bread and a little bit more mayonnaise on this thing. It was pathetic. Okay. And it did not taste all that great, aside from the fact that these things are always double, either fat, salt, or sugar. If you got a hamburger that's greasy and then it's got a piece of cheese on top, then they double the cheese, then they put mayonnaise on both sides. Then in turn, they want to sell you French fries or onion rings, which are greasy. It's our whole American diet is double the carbs, double the sugar, double the amount of fat. Everything. We're so used to it, Well, anyway, it was pretty pathetic. Ellen made complaints to Jack in the Box corporate, which, of course, is completely worthless. These people are owned by Ralston Purina, one of the major pet food manufacturers in the U.S. I really do have a problem eating hamburgers from the same people that make hamster food. You ever think about that one, It's like, you ever feel like a rodent? Hey, let's go to Jack in the Box and the feeder, hey, it's a clown. Oh, yeah, well, whatever. Hey, clowny. Yeah, so here we got it, that really kind of got me started on it. Yeah, then I picked up on a little bit of national news where some rest area in Connecticut is charging like $18 for a Big Mac. And I'm going, oh man, come on, I'm trying to remember. I'm thinking back. What was this all about? Because it really, I guess, I was pretty much born and raised during the period of the evolution of the American fast food drive-up or drive-through restaurant. Yeah, the drive-through restaurant came a little bit later usually, but the drive-up restaurant where you really didn't leave your car, it was evolving during that period of time. Now, the earliest one would have been A&W Root Beer. We all know A&W. 1919 started a roadside root beer stand. By 1922, I guess they had added, some food on the side there too. They were the first. It moved on, and so, by 1940, you had the Dairy Queen showed up. And then, by 1950, we had Tasty Freeze. It later kind of evolved into, these Dog and Suds, and you had Der Wiener Schnitzel, which was also connected to this whole thing. But those were around in my childhood. I saw these things becoming what they were. As I grew up, we still had car hops on roller skates with little short skirts who would deliver a tray and hook it onto your window in the car. Sir, will you please roll up your window part way? You roll the thing up, hook the tray there, and hey, put your burgers and everything on there, and she'd go skating away. You have these little speaker microphone jobbies, sort of like you got with the clown today, except each stall would have one, and you make your order on them, and the lady, bring it out on the roller skates. I remember those. They barely exist today. With car hop service is what they used to call it. These days, with McDonald's, they got rid of the car hop service. People would park, walk up. Well, when I was a young man and recently acquired a driver's license and had acquired a car of my own, one of the places that we would go we'd drive our cars over to McDonald's, have a impromptu car show in the parking lot, pop the hood on the Chevy and show how many carburetors were packed on the 409 and go through all that stuff, the standard American show off your car routine at the hamburger joint. That was one reason we went there, was for car shows, but the other reason we went there, other than sheer boredom in the Midwest, was that hamburgers were really cheap. Yeah, they were really, really cheap. By comparison today, with the $18 Connecticut Big Mac, that the average price of this burger across the United States of America is $5.58 on a Big Mac is an average current price. But by comparison, in 1967, the Big Mac cost 45 cents. Now, that was a lot of money, actually, and seldom did we ever purchase that thing, my recollection of McDonald's was hamburgers under a quarter. Yeah, we would buy them for 18 cents, 19 cents. I remember maybe they got up as high as 22 cents for a basic hamburger. So this stuff was amounted in pennies, all right? And it was so cheap that we just couldn't resist going there and hanging out, and you could afford for, half a buck to eat a few hamburgers. Now, they were lousy. Yeah, there were much better choices, and back in those days, an American hamburger really didn't taste like a McDonald's. That was not the classic burger flavor. They kind of invented their own special taste there and kind of created a crowd to follow the taste around, so a lot of people like them. I'm not quite sure why, but I'm not quite sure about a lot of things Americans like, so we'll stay away from that. But a lot of people like them. I only ate them as a boy because they were really super cheap. It's the only reason. It wasn't because they were good. You kind of held your nose and you woofed the things down, and then you popped the hood of your car and showed it off to the guy next to you. That's about it. And so if you take a look now, in 1967, the value of $1 by today's standards would have been $9. So if you had $1 in 67, by comparison to today, you could have spent that for $9 worth. So it's pretty much 9 to 1 when you start doing the math on this stuff. And so, so today, the price on a hamburger, you want a basic McDonald's hamburger, that's about $3.69, all right? About $3.29 here in Hawaii anyway. And, if you figure the 9 to 1, it should be $1.35. It should be $1.35, but it's not. It's $3.29. Fries, for instance, they should be 90 cents by comparison to the 1967 price. They're not. They're $3.69 for the fries. There are other factors around it. You can make a little argument here or there, but let's face it. If the inflation in the economy is pretty much 9 to 1 over that period of time, how do we explain the difference in price on this fast food stuff? America originally started eating the fast food not because it was delicious. They ate it because we were in a hurry. You could grab it and go, and it was cheap. It ain't cheap anymore. Yeah. Boy, I tell you, I'm going to put up some menus here. Here's some current. The current menus are so complicated. Now I cannot even fit them in this. I'm not going to bother because I'd have to have frame after frame. There's the breakfast menu. There's the drink menu. It's the original McDonald's menu was a real simple thing, and you didn't have to scratch your head very long to figure out what you were going to order. And if you were Catholic, there was a fish sandwich on Friday. It was a very simple menu. Very simple. It's no longer simple. Here's say the 1967 menu in typical 1967 prices. This is what it used to look like. I remember these prices. They were real. The only thing cheaper on earth was a White Castle, and that was about the only thing, shall we say, lower grade in the hamburger universe. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, looking over the local Hilo menu here, which is probably higher than the one you have in Kansas City. But, here, if you want just a plain old basic McDonald's hamburger that, once cost me 18 cents, it's now $3.29 here in Hawaii. Same crummy little burger. The cheeseburger, that at one time cost me 20 cents, maybe 18 to 22 cents, depending, now, it's $4. You're paying them 70 cents for a slice of cheese, or 68 cents for a slice of cheese on top of the thing. Is that really what a slice of cheese costs today? I don't think so. I mean, cheese has gotten pretty expensive, too. Dairy products are up there, but a slice of the crummy American cheese, 70 cents? I don't know. Must be the increase of, what do you call it, minimum wage, the labor it takes to put the slice on. And Coke, oh, good grief, the small Coke, $1.71, according to the menu. I mean, why the 71? Whatever used to happen is 69, 71. I don't know how that occurs even. It's such a dizzy looking thing. But we have here this issue, where all of this stuff is supersized, and all Americans, they're taking injections of drugs for weight loss and all this. Everybody's worried about being obese, and yet everything is supersized, double, and like I say, when I look at it, the fast food industry has gotten us used to eating both carb, paired up. Okay. Used to getting fat. Again, tripled up. You got the cheeseburger has 2 slices of cheese on top of the silly thing. The hamburger itself is greasy. Okay, it's got a mayo-based dressing on it, and then they put slices of bacon on top. Okay, this is fat on top of fat on top of fat on top of fat. That's a triple fat. Just the mayonnaise is heavy duty. Just a slice of bacon or a slice of cheese, again, is heavy duty. The burger itself had enough fat in it, And of course, let's not even talk about the sodium content, because they salt the burger on the grill. You make cheese, with salt. Mayonnaise, it has salt in it, the bacon is loaded in salt, and so on and so forth. These classic menu items and the food that we're used to seeing as our dinner is actually killing us. We could thank the fast food industry for having introduced us to this style of eating. The drinks are ridiculous. I mean, I don't know, I remember when what they call the Dixie cup. Okay, that size, I don't know if it held maybe 8 ounces or something, 8 ounces. Anyway, the little cup, that was called a small drink. Yeah, and by the time it got up to the large drink, maybe it held 16 ounces, maybe, but really anything that went past a 12-ounce bottle of Coke was an awful lot of soda pop back when. Okay, unless you were buying A&W root beer by the gallon jug to take it home. Yeah, usually, 12 to 16 ounces was about as big a container of anything as you could find. These days, it's the big gulp. It's the drown me drink. Everything's it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. They have to make special cups with handles on them. And it's sugar. That's sugar. That's sugar, sugar, sugar. The body, it never really gets tired of consuming sugar. There is no off valve. It's an addictive compound. And the fast food joints know that. And before fast food, most of us didn't routinely drink a sugared drink along with our meals. We probably drank water. We might have had coffee. We perhaps drank tea. Yeah, maybe if we were younger, we drank milk, if we had enough money to afford it, and so on. These were the classic beverages, really. Fruit juices, there's originally, we had some OJ, and then the concentrated industry, there were a few things that were put in cans, like apple juice and this and that. But America really wasn't big on these fruit drinks. OJ worked its way into the morning breakfast, when they started reconstituting orange juice. Florida made an industry out of it. Eventually, Hawaii had the pineapple juice industry, came on a little later, too. And so we started thinking in the lines of fruit juices. I remember when I started to drink fruit juices with a meal. Prior to that, we didn't drink fruit juices with meals. I drank water or coffee most of the time. Well, yeah, so we've really gotten educated because of these industries into some very dangerous and very bad eating habits. Worse, I fear that many of us have actually developed a taste for this stuff. Yeah, you get used to drinking Coca-Cola, constantly drinking Coca-Cola. I know guys will have Mountain Dew in the morning instead of coffee, and then Coke the rest of the day, or there are Mountain Dew addicts out there and so on. And this is, classic beverage. We had them, a glass of unsweetened iced tea, or just a glass of water, and it's not suitable. It tastes wrong. No good. I have friends who come by, and the drinks we will drink without sugar, they will request sugar to put into the drinks because they've gotten so used to the soda pop phenomenon. Yeah, and you know where it came from? That didn't come out of Grandma's kitchen. No. Grandma did make some root beer, but that's about the extent of it, folks. And I do remember the stories of the bottles blowing up in the basement. Homemade root beer, it could become a homemade hand grenade if you weren't careful. Personal experience, family experience. All right, folks, aloha. You all have a good time, but I highly recommend, and it really is time, we just put our foot down on this fast food stuff. It's no good for us. And they're overcharging us big time at the current moment because they can, I guess. Why they think they can get away with it? I guess they figure they've got us all addicted. Well, they got me addicted because I remember when it first came on, and I remember why I first tasted it. It was cheap. That was it. It was cheap. And so if it ain't cheap anymore, I can't see any point or any reason why anybody would ever want to eat that stuff. So if you haven't become completely addicted to the flavor of the stuff, looks like it might just be time to let them people suffer with their own hamburgers. That's the only way, voting with your dollar. If you want to try to bring the price down on anything, stop buying it. Yeah. Stop using it. Stop buying it. Yeah, and the only two things can possibly happen at that point if it's organized enough. They either lower the price or go bankrupt. Yeah, so I wouldn't be at all unhappy to see the clown sitting on a park bench with a brown paper bag with the golden arches on it, of course. Hang loose, folks. Aloha.